The second summit in as many days on refugees and migration. This time, world leaders were asked to make financial pledges to help refugees resettle and make a new life.
Not a single country, however powerful and resourceful may be, cannot handle this one. United Nations cannot handle this one alone. We need all solidarity and we need unity in addressing this issue.
The meeting, convened by outgoing US President Obama, heard him commit the US to accept more refugees, and China added to Monday's pledge of $100 million in refugee aid.
At yesterday's meeting, I pledged $100 million to nations and organizations. Today, I will further promise that in the coming 3 years, through the South-South Cooperation Assistance Fund, China will provide $50 million each year to multilateral humanitarian organizations and relevant UN initiatives. China will also provide another $50 million assistance each year through bilateral channels. In total, China pledges another $300 million in new assistance.
The global economy was on the agenda earlier as Chinese Premier Li met with former US Treasury Secretary Hank Paulson and former New York Mayor billionaire Mike Bloomberg. Li Keqiang underlined the interdependence of the US and Chinese economies.
China and the United States don't just have stable political ties, but also enjoy very close business cooperation. I was told that every second of every day, a Chinese is buying an iPhone product. And maybe when that Chinese customer is buying this iPhone, he's not aware that the real big Apple is New York City.
And at the Economic Club of New York, Li Keqiang told an influential audience that the Chinese economy and Beijing's market reforms are on track.
Dr. Kissinger asked me if China's economic size equaled that of the U.S., would that change the geopolitics? I can answer that now by saying no. The U.S. is the largest developed country and China is the largest developing one. China is still in the process of pursuing modernization. When it comes to economy, we shouldn't be just talking about size, but also per capita GDP. The per capita GDP of the U.S. is 7 times that of China's per capita GDP.
Chinese Premier Li Keqiang there making a joke about the Big Apple, but here in the Big Apple, Chinese companies would like to see more Chinese products sold. Huawei phones, for example, why not? So there's going to be lots of talk about Chinese investment in the US and US investment in China. Remember, they're still negotiating a long-awaited bilateral investment treaty, and there'll be a big speech, probably one of the biggest that we've heard from a Chinese leader on the economy here in the US this year at the New York Economic Club from Li Keqiang in the coming hours. That will be keenly watched by Wall Street and the world. Nathan King, CCTV at the United Nations in New York.